Oh, look at me.
Ellen, I missed how you got into it. You were in.
Yeah, I'll tell you again.
But I thought you said that you went to. Oops, sorry, but I didn't see the advanced.
No, I gave it wrong. So it's in, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. So go to share screen. And then choose advanced at the top. Hang on. And then choose, oops. Oh, now it's not gonna let me do it because Nikki, you're working on it. Okay, so do that. And then choose advanced and then choose, I think it says slideshow beta.
Yeah.
Yeah, on mine, it was like the very first one.
Yep. And then
Yeah,
choose
first on mine too.
slideshow beta. Is that what it was called? I forgot the name of it.
It was the first one on the left.
I want to make sure it's the right. Slides as virtual background. Whoops,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that. Slides as virtual background. Choose slides as virtual background. And then select your presentation on your desktop. And I did Keynote, which is like the PowerPoint of the Mac world.
Yeah.
I have zero experience with it.
Yeah. Can you, and you're not sure if you can select PowerPoint?
I didn't try.
Okay. Okay.
So you might want to give that a shot.
And is that only possible? Like, I still have to figure out, like, I can't do a virtual background. Like it just washes out me or anything like that. So, but you can do a virtual background, right?
I can.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
I wonder why you can't. Weird. So anyway, so there, I put it in the chat. So again, for anybody who doesn't have access to the chat, click share screen, choose advanced at the top, choose slides as virtual background, select your presentation on your desktop. I chose Keynote, but it may work as a Google Slides might work, PowerPoint might work, don't know.
I found Google, if you, instead of hitting advanced, you can go to file. Like when you hit share screen, I was just looking at it. I hit share screen, and then if you go to files, then Google Drive comes up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Nikki, because I really did not want to remake some of my slides.
No, everything is in Google Slides. Everything for us.
Everything, yes. Hot tip, awesome. So anyway, I learned that. I thought that was really a super fun thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. We are into it. I'm recording, so just so you know that. And welcome to, what is this, December 18th? And we have Elizabeth from, you're in Wyoming, right?
In a beautiful place, it looks like a cabin or something.
Can I come over? I like it.
No.
Yes.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
We're stashed all over the house. I've got somebody in my office, one of my kids working, my husband's wrapping presents in the other room. I got another child down in the other room. So I'm camped in the living room today.
Not a bad place to be.
No.
Very cool. Let's go around real quick. So we'll introduce ourselves to Elizabeth and she can tell us a little bit about herself.
Thank
so Elizabeth, you know me. I'm Susan Walker, and I will go to Cinnamon on my left.
I am Cinnamon Tyson. I'm a parent educator from the Chisago Lake School District.
Hello.
And
I'm Shelley Dorn. I'm a parent educator from Rosemount Apple Valley School District.
Hi there.
Ellen Hafner, parent educator in Northfield.
I'm Lucy Bauer. I'm parent educator in St. Cloud School District, St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Hi.
I'll go. Hi, Elizabeth. We know
Hi,
each other.
Nikki.
Program.
Hello all. Nikki, I missed you last semester. I didn't see you nearly enough. I'm in the UMN Parenting Certificate program, and Nikki and I have overlapped for, I think, 3 of the last 4 semesters. And I am in my last year and aspiring to join your community and be one of you.
You already are.
You're very kind.
Is
And-
that my
and-
turn?
And where in Wyoming again are you?
Yeah.
Oh, we are in Jackson, which is right, a big ski area. It's not the capital, but it is on the northwest side of the state, really bordering the Idaho state line.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And right next to the Tetons.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, well, it's sort of snowy. It's a little hard to see them today.
I love the
but-
Tetons so much.
And just a shout out to Susan. She was my first professor and I love, it's still my favorite class. Not buttering you up, just
yay.
it is. It was.
Good to hear. Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly Copenhaver. I'm in northern Minnesota in a couple of small districts up here, Cloquet and Barnum, working as a parent educator with my kids.
With your kids.
Hi.
Hi, kids. And Yuji, are you with us today?
Yes, yes. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi,
My
Yuji.
name is my name is Yuji. Sorry, my Zoom doesn't work. When you talk about, go to share screen, Ellen talk about go to share screen, and I couldn't find the advanced, button. So I cannot turn on my video this time. I'm very happy to see you join us. I'm in Montana, Whitefish, Montana right now. Yeah, I'm licensed parent educator from Minnesota State. I graduated from Minnesota and then moved to Montana. Right now, I'm creating a parent education program in Whitefish School District.
Okay.
Thank you.
So a couple out of staters. Well, welcome. It's great to see everybody. How's the week going? Closing down school and all of that. What is happening with your holidays? I mean, like with schools during the holiday thing, will you shut down? Is this like coming up to your break and you're out for 2 weeks, you come back, or what's the, hi, Sarah.
So I'll share. We've been in distance learning in Robbinsdale for the whole year. We have never gone back. And we just got word after the governor just recently made his announcement that as a district, I don't even have the words for it. And I think we're all in the same here in Minnesota, but that our numbers are higher than they've ever been and we're bringing kids back. That there's a move to get these kids back in school. And so we're starting with our youngest learners and we have a meeting at 1 o'clock today. So I'll jump off really promptly. ECFE in Robbinsdale has a meeting today to help us understand what that looks like for us. And just for anyone who wasn't here when I had talked about it probably a long time ago, we have specific classes that are distanced for the whole year and that's how they signed up. So those classes will not be impacted, but all of the classes that are that were hybrid, in other words, they signed up for in person, but they couldn't come in person. Those will all be returning on site. And so, yeah, we come back on Monday, January 4th, and we're learning more about what that will look like and when. I don't know that we'll be back in person then, or if it'll be the following week. But we're all really in awe of what this decision is and what it looks like. I will also share, just because I'm smiling about this, so we'll all masks, and right, I guess now we have to have our face shields as well, that's going to be required. A parent made this for me. Is that not a riot?
It's so cute. It's you.
Yeah, I had to model that. Yeah, she asked me actually if I would, she did it for all of us. She just said, send me your Bitmoji. Okay. So anyways, that's where we're at. And I'm so interested to learn where other people are at because I know there's so much concern.
Well, Nikki, we also in Northfield, we're back. January 19th is the first day back. They also want to get preschool back in the building and they want to get elementary in the building. And they're saying now that the county numbers per 10,000 residents does not any longer apply to elementary school.
Wow.
And we did a great job in Northfield. We've had, I want to say 50 cases in the high school And it was because they're getting in cars with each other after school. Duh. But our elementary schools all had less than 10 cases. Some of them 5 or less. So getting those, and our building had 3 cases, 2 were kids, 1 was staff after we had already closed. So yeah, it's interesting because we are going to offer some virtual only options, but we were, yeah, it'll be, ECFE has a meeting on Monday, but it does look like we will be in person in some capacity mid-January. And we'll see what numbers look like, because I know we have families who are hardcore and they'll keep coming. And we were in person up until Thanksgiving. Unlike, you said Robbinsdale has been virtual, we were in person. So
We don't really have an answer yet. We got a email from the district, kind of reaffirming that, yes, the governor has said that we could come back, but with no promises of that happening. They're going to look at numbers and evaluate. And so we don't really have a clear, right now we're starting January 4th virtual only. And we'll hopefully hear more in January. So, and we were hybrid for a while and then went distance right before Thanksgiving. So,
well, and that's the thing, you guys. I mean, even if we were to go back mid-January, it's a month away from now. And we know what COVID numbers do in a month, especially with these boneheads getting together at the bar in Lakeville. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Thanks for ruining it for the rest of the class.
Mhm.
Well, and that's what we're doing too. We just found out that we as pre-K to 1, that's because that's what our building is, can go back starting January 19th. And we were pretty much in person until just right before Thanksgiving. And so we're excited to come back because we just know that our district, even though our county says we're high, like our district hasn't been high. Like we've had cases kind of like you, Ellen, where it's been real hit or miss, and it's the county, it's not just our school. And so we're excited to come back. We just don't know, again, we don't know what it's going to look like because yeah, it's a month away still, and it could change again tomorrow already. We just don't know. And so, but we have lost the majority of preschool and we've lost the majority of our ECFE families, but again, we know they want to come back and they want to be here. So I'm sure once they see the message from the superintendent, they're going to be excited that this is happening, but who knows? We hope that it's going to stay, that January 19th is our let's go day. But who knows?
So Elizabeth, and usually just as a little background, and you guys correct me if I get this wrong, but ECFE is very much affected by the schools, especially the elementary schools, and when they can be open and closed. And so at the beginning of the school year in September, there was a real variety of the programs that continued face-to-face. And the ones that went completely online, and then ones that went hybrid, and then there was, what was it you guys were saying, like every 2 weeks there was a report from the state that had figures that would let infection figures that would let them know whether or not they could stay meeting face to face or whether they had to go into another format. And then, and Ellen, I remember, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, mid one of our meetings, you said, and I just got an email that we were closing on Wednesday. Yeah, that it can happen just that quickly. And this kind of immediate need to shift the way that classes are being offered. In Sarah's case, Sarah graduated from our program a couple years ago, and Sarah's in Edina, and her program laid off teachers. And as they sort of shifted at the beginning of this year with how or if they were going to do ECFE, and then just, was it yesterday that they announced that the elementary schools were going to be back meeting face to face. And then, so what we're kind of talking about right now is what that means for the ECFE programs and that sudden shift back. I'm curious, Sarah, have you heard anything? Is this going to affect you, or is this still too early for Edina to know anything?
Well, I was actually just
trying to figure out what they're doing. Can you hear me?
Oh, Sarah, we can't hear you, hon.
Oh, huh. Okay, hold on. Shoot.
You're faint. It's just, we can hear you. It's just super duper faint.
Yeah,
Weird.
Oh, that's better.
that's good.
Oh, holy moly. I just, now you're really.
We are.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thanks. I was just looking at the catalog actually, because this is like the time in the week I really think about what exactly they're doing in the early learning center. It looks to me like they had a 6-week section of ECFE, like an hour-long in-person ECFE Monday this fall, and they've continued that section and added a Friday section for 0 to 3s, and then and it's partly separate. I'm not exactly clear because I don't work there anymore. And then they've got a Tuesday thing that's continuing on Tuesday mornings, and then they've got Saturday classes. All of those are covered by 2 parent eds. One is a dual licensed early childhood and parent ed person. So that's very part-time for both of those. And I haven't heard anything about, I mean, I was laid off. I wasn't even furloughed. So, and there's the contract dispute too around like whether I would have right of first refusal to come back, depending on my seniority and all of that. So I try not to give it a lot of thought and energy because it gets me kind of worked up. But it's, from what I can tell, they're still offering a very minimal in-person early childhood family ed program. They also do, though, continue to offer in-person preschool, and that has not ever gone online. They've continued that in person, even when the rest of the district went fully online, like around Thanksgiving.
Sarah, I saw the other day an ad, they were hiring a teacher. And maybe that's for preschool. The early learning center.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
An early childhood teacher or a parent ed?
It looked like early childhood. So I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like I said, I try not to, it doesn't do a lot for me to spend a lot of time there. So I like the thought there. So trying to be hygienic about that, take care of myself.
Well, I won't ask.
But
again.
Well, that you can totally ask. I can always decline to answer, but that's what I know. I mean, I too am super curious, and I can text my former colleague and find out, but I just haven't sent her a Christmas card. But I can also update, as long as we're talking about it, that the district and the union are going to mediation on January 21st regarding our contract dispute. So whatever that means. Slow.
Yeah.
But I'll also say, as long as you've given me the platform, I really miss ECFE and school-based work, and I would love to find a new position of doing school-based work. And so I appreciate when you guys post stuff on Friends of Family Ed, or if you even want to reach out to me, I would definitely be interested in putting my hat in the ring if people are hiring for parent ed, because I miss it dreadfully. I miss people who are for and their folks.
Yeah.
I just wanted to extend some support to Sarah for things that happen to teachers based on contract things, because a few things happened in our district as well with some of our early childhood and family ed teachers. So, but I don't want to spend time on that either. Like you said, the energy for that is exactly where I want to be right now. But in our school district in St. Cloud, we will be going back on the 19th. Just as someone said 19th. So yeah, so that's what's going to happen. We're going back into the hybrid model. Our ECFE has been following the through early elementary model along with our preschool. So the ECFE classes that were in session did go to distance learning on November. We went on November 23rd rather than the 30th. And we do our second semester with a mid-January start so that we don't have to have families enrolling in classes during the busy holiday time. So we do 2 semesters with our re-enrollment happening. It can happen starting after December 1st, but the classes don't start until the middle of January. So we actually do have one or two classes that are crossing over in terms of needing to start before the 19th. So that's kind of an interesting little scenario. But basically, when classes resume on January 19th in District 742 in the hybrid model, that's what we will do. And so that means that all of our classes, which meet once a week, will just meet once a week, but we'll follow all the protocols that we had in place before. So minimal enrollment, about 50%, and face shields, as was mentioned before, with masks and all of the other things, that everybody's already familiar with. Our enrollments for the second semester classes, what we decided to do is something a little bit different, but we took the families, offered to the families that were already in those classes that for the second semester, they automatically have a spot. Usually the enrollment is completely open, but we gave them their spot right away so that they could save it, so to speak, because they were already comfortable coming. And they didn't have to pay until now or soon, but they have their spots. And then we have some new classes that are starting that were not offered before, because I'm back there now. I was not there at the beginning of the school year because of a contract thing. But so there's some new classes starting, and we also have some virtual offerings that will in the catalog that people are already signing up for that will be virtual. I mean, they're advertised as virtual, and they will be virtual. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how it goes. So that's where we're at in St. Cloud.
Interesting. So Lucy, let me just ask, and this is for everybody. So we use the word hybrid, and I think in the ed tech world or in the delivery world, like hybrid can mean different things. So when you say hybrid, so for instance, hybrid can mean I teach for the classroom, but I also have a camera up, so people who are not present can also sort of be part of the thing. Hybrid can also mean classroom plus online, so that there's an online component. So we meet as a class, and then between classes, there are online things to do. So there's that sort of kind of hybrid. So a hybrid can also mean using different types of technologies. So in your case, and for other people, so when you refer, oh, kitty, sorry, distracted by cats. So when you say hybrid, so what do you mean?
See, so our hybrid model for early elementary, which includes our pre-K and our ECFE, is okay. So for ECFE, that hybrid is really just basically the protocols that we need to take on site, because we've already minimized the classes to very small groups, and they don't meet on any kind of an A/B schedule or anything like that, so that's the ECFE hybrid. Our preschoolers are on an A/B rotation because they're 4 days a week. So they would have a 2-day in, 2-day at home, with a check-in with the teacher in the morning and seesaw support. And the same teacher would be handling the A group and the B group. So it's A/B model there, and that would be that's how the preschool is. The K through 2 students hybrid model is a Monday through Thursday in person with a learn at home on Friday. Mm-hmm. And the grade 3 through 5 hybrid model is an A/B rotation with the same teacher handling both rotations, so that when the children are in the classroom, it's like half of your class. And as far as I understand, the children at home are not being pulled into the classroom virtually when their classmates are there. So the A kids, when they're in the class, they get the teacher's full attention. When the B kids are in the classroom, they get the teacher's full attention, and the other half of the group is at home.
Okay.
So no dual teaching, teaching at home, teaching in the classroom model.
Okay.
In 742 in those grade levels. I'm not exactly sure if I can give you all the details for the middle and high.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I have
Interesting.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering, since all of us seem to have smaller classes, regardless of whether we're in person and on Zoom, I'm just really curious if you guys are doing any strategies for getting them to talk. Because my early childhood teacher and I were talking, and we figured out that part of, I don't want to say it's a problem, because it can be a problem, but when you have 10 or 12 parents, and in that group, you've got at least 2 or 3 who will always say something, they're really positive, they keep the banter going. I listened to, of course, Brene Brown had on this woman named Priya something, and she talked about the art of gathering. And she talked about the power of the mute button and how so much of our, and I was like, when she said it, I was like, oh, duh. So much of the group process happens in the snarky, sarcastic comments that some parents make, or the laughter, and we're missing out on that. So virtually, but what I discovered is that a lot of the families who signed up for in-person this year were just are really quiet, introverted parents, which made for some real struggles in parent ed. So I'm just curious, that was a really long question, but how are any of you doing anything different, creative? I had so many crickets. So I feel like that would be a really good discussion on how do you get them to talk in a teeny tiny group where they don't really know each other because they're trying to stay 6 feet away from each other. Yeah, what are you doing for engagement? Because I'm already dreading some of those tiny classes again, because it was like pulling teeth in some of them.
I haven't tried this yet, but one of our parent educators, the groups are small, right? And I don't know if you used to do this when we had like normal size classes, but put them in groups or parent share or whatever. So she did that in a breakout room. So when we were hybrid and we were there, she had couple families on Zoom and then a couple families in person. And so she let those 2 people that were in person talk in the parent room together, gave them some questions or whatever her topic was. And then she went into the hallway with the people on Zoom. So she was in a room with those 2, and then the other ones were back in the classroom talking to each other without her there. So, give them that little bit of a smaller group. And she said it actually worked out really well. So, the breakout rooms are something I intend to try in January, but
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
And I
neither.
also, like for my classes where I have some in person and some online,
yeah,
most of my classes, I have one parent participating online, and we're actually axing that because we all hate it. Okay, it's a strong word. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But that's a really good idea. I'm writing it down just in case.
Yeah,
So.
it worked. She said it worked really well for her. So depending on what happens with us, I think that's a great idea.
I think I'm still kind of struggling with that as well. And I've been doing just virtual parent ed. So I have them all virtually. And the thing that I started to try this last time is just, individually calling on them and saying, oh, what did you have to say about that? What did you have to say about that? But I think the other aspect of it is the wait time is so much longer, because then you're like, oh, what did you have to say about that? And they're like, oh, unmute. Oh, so I was going to say, there's just a much longer. And when I don't call on someone individually and I ask the question, you can tell they're all like, I'm going to unmute. No, you're going to, no, I'm going to, no, you're, oh, okay. I'm going to talk. So there's just way longer wait times. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around just being prepared to have those longer wait times. Cause I don't know if you guys notice, I talk a lot. So I don't want to jump in and start talking again without giving them the wait time to let them be the ones that continue. So I think it's just, for me, just learning the different nuances of it rather than a big famous strategy, more of just for myself. I feel like it's a different nuance and I just have to wrap my head around that.
Well, and for me, I'm a complete introvert too. So this stuff, this parent ed stuff has really had to bring out some of the extrovert in me, which I'm still very far from it. But what I got out of it when I took ECFE classes is that, like, if I could talk to 1 or 2 people versus talking to all 12 people, like, really helped out. And so that's how I look at my classes too. Especially when we are in person, like, I try to give them more just table talk stuff. And because we did have to go to spreading out 6 feet apart, like, my tables are spread out 6 feet apart now. So now there's only like 2 or 3 people at a table. And so that has really brought out the conversations a lot more versus, having a big group conversation. Like, I've noticed that. And so that's really worked for us. But this, and I don't know how you guys get it to work, but I was just talking to my coordinator today and I'm like, I feel bad even having a job right now, because I said, as a parent educator, I cannot get anything going with any of these parents. I have tried everything. I've tried email, I've tried Zoom, I've tried Google Meet, I've tried Facebook Lives. Like, yeah, I'm like, I am frustrated to the point of frustration. And she, like, talked me off the ledge today and said, no, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're still connecting and you're giving them what they need, but they're not responding back to you. Right. And that's on their part now. And so at least you're there trying to be there. And now you have to wait for them to come. And so it's just, I don't know. It's hard. It's super hard. So.
Cinnamon, I have a quick little something to add to that. I wasn't feeling quite there, but my numbers are always small enough that even talking about breaking them into small groups, be like, oh, I have enough to break them into small groups. That'd be great. But when you actually talk about the parents, I had a parent reach out to me yesterday, kind of a little bit out of the blue. She's been a family with us for many years. And I have not heard from her very much during this, a periodic message here and there and Facebook something, but she has a younger one that would be signing up for our classes and she hasn't signed up for like anything. And it's kind of killing me because she's like one of our solids, right? But I haven't said anything, I didn't do anything, but I had a class that wasn't gonna run. And I said, as a favor, they're free right now. Would you please just join me for this class? I would love to see you in there. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I will, absolutely will. And then she sent me this really long message afterward that just said, I know that I haven't really been attending and this is such a weird time. And I just want to let you know that knowing that you're there has still brought me a lot of security, even though I haven't been reaching out to you. I know that if I needed to, I know that you'd be there. So I'm getting a little bit, we're doing what we need to do.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you for sharing that, Melissa. And welcome, by the way. It is hard though, Cinnamon. I totally understand. I mean, my world is a lot of black boxes of undergraduate students and 3 pages of nothing but names. And when I'll ask a question, they're not jockeying for, who's going to talk? It's like waiting it out so that they don't have to talk and figure, like holding that somebody else is going to talk and like answer the question and Susan will move on. And it is just killing me. I mean, it just saps my energy because it's not the way that I teach. I get more energy from our master students in text than I get from undergraduate students in video conferencing because they're so unresponsive, but at least through words and people's emotion and their thoughts and their personalities and their words, at least I would get that. But, I would just echo what and because I'm doing the same thing you guys are, which is you just have to be there, part of your brain can go, well, this is my job, right? So like I'm paid to do this. But the other side of it, I honestly do believe in that sense of consistency, and it's just like I can go by the park and I can never stop at the park. But then that day that I need a walk in the park or to swing on the swings or to, you know, watch children or something like that, it's going to be there for me. And I'll be really grateful that you know, my tax dollars are supporting having that park around. So, but it's hard, you know, but we're not grass and we're not pieces of metal. You know, we're human beings and we need a feeling of responsiveness too. So it just is really hard. I know.
My son is in 7th grade confirmation, and the pastor says, "Are you guys on mute all day at school?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "I want you all to unmute." He says, I want you to be able to say something if you want to say it." It's a little chaotic with 18 7th graders, but I'm actually also amazed. It's a little crazy. Sometimes they talk over each other, but it really does free up the space. So for my virtual only classes, I am really going to encourage that parents wear earbuds, because I would love it if they could stay off mute. And you know what? By golly, I'll go find some and I will buy them with my own darn money, and I will deliver them at their house if they don't have some earbuds, because
Great
I
idea.
feel like, huh?
Great idea.
Yeah, because it really does dumb down the sound in the background. I'm also going to show them all how to turn down your background noise on Zoom. Do you guys know how to do that?
No?
I will show you.
You're currently just muted, Ellen.
Sorry, I was muted. Thanks. If you go into video settings
Mhm.
and click on audio, about 3/4 of the way down, it says suppress background noise,
Oh, yeah.
auto, low, medium, or high. So I was watching another tutorial video on how you can, and she was showing, like, she had a lawnmower in the background, and when she turned it to high, Nikki, you got to update your Zoom. Update your Zoom, it's there. So I was amazed at how much her sound went way down. So update your Zoom, and then
I do have it. It's on auto.
so select high. And it like gets rid of pen taps. Can you guys hear my pen tapping?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if I changed it, if it was louder. It may dull it down a little bit. I'm curious.
Okay, I found it all, but what am I supposed to mark? I found it in the
Select
audio.
high. Select high.
On
Suppress
which
background
one
noise.
though? Select high on what?
Suppress background noise.
Suppress background noise.
Here, I'll
So
share my
here's-
screen.
So here's low. And here's high.
Okay, so here.
Did
Okay,
it change it at all?
wait, where's my Zoom? Oh, that's right. I forget it.
From within the meeting.
Yeah, you can't share the same screen everybody's looking at. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah. So
So-
unfortunately it says stop video, but it's not,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Yeah, video.
So
set-
I'm thinking,
It was under audio? I'm not seeing it.
here, let me share my screen. Because sometimes it just takes seeing it. Here we go. So,
Yeah.
well, that was my choir Zoom the other night. We had a good time. How do I get back to my Zoom, you guys? What happened? Oh, here we go. Screen sharing.
Yeah, you're good.
But where did everybody go? Okay, whatever. Okay, so
We
go
can see you
to,
still.
oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah.
So where you would normally hit stop video, go to video settings,
Yep.
and then choose audio over on the left. And then right here, suppress background noise, high. So there's
See,
auto.
mine doesn't have that option.
Ooh, you probably have to then update. You got to update. I missed 4 updates. I had none of these options, and I had missed 4 updates. It's like,
Oh, I have an advanced button down in the right corner. I have to click on advanced and
there you
then
go.
suppress background noises there.
There it is.
And we want it on high.
Yeah.
I have aggressive. Mine doesn't say high. Mine says aggressive.
Aggressive.
Mine's getting aggressive.
I feel like if we walk families through that, and it may require us to do screen records on iPads or phones or whatever, that might help with the mute button issue. Do you mind?
Can you guys still hear my background noises?
No.
I'm snapping my fingers.
Oh, a tiny bit.
Wow,
Tiny bit.
interesting.
Interesting.
I also have an
Susan.
option for echo cancellation. I don't know what that is.
Oh, what?
Echo cancellation?
That's if, you know how sometimes you can hear you know how sometimes it goes, wow, wow, wow.
Yes,
Select high on that one too.
gotcha.
Okay.
Go ahead, Yuji.
Hi, thank you, Helen. Susan, you mentioned, less participation from your undergraduate students through, online class.
Mhm.
From a webinar, I learned there is another reason for that, because when we take the online classes, right, whoever speaks, everyone else attention is on this person. So this person knows everyone is watching her or watching him. That makes this person nervous. So, many people, they are not used to be noticed, because in the classroom, right, when we talk, sometimes we talk to the professor, only the professor pays full attention to this one student. The other student just is on the side. But when we are online, everyone's attention is watching you. This is one person. So that is kind of nervous to many people.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want to talk unless they have to. Yeah, that is one thing.
Yeah, and I think, the context too for these students is, they could have five hours of Zoom, one after the other, and they're just
Tired.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the I want to go back to Ellen's question about, or Melissa's on, who was it asked? Melissa, were you the one about asking about how do you get them to talk? Sometimes I found, doing like a fun game, you guys do this all the time too, but something not related to the class or not related to discussion, but just something silly that gets everybody moving around. We used to do like theater games and improv games and I forget what they used to call them. I guess I don't have it. Oh, new games, all that cooperative play from the 70s. You're all too young. And, but it's just like, so that it's just kind of helping people feel more comfortable with each other and just get the stiffness out, that it can kind of encourage them to open up, feel safer with each other and not so restrictive.
I didn't even really think about that, but I do a lot of those kinds of games in my regular classes when we're in person, but
Yeah.
like I gather this stuff. And actually this last class that I did, we were talking about parenting styles a little bit. And so I had them do the classic, like grab the toy and describe to me, if that was a parent, what kind of parent would it be? And one of the toys is squishy and one of them is hard and one of them is, and make sure you have all the different kinds. So I just made sure I had all the different kinds by me, but I had them just grab something from their house, grab any random object that's nearby. And even that regular just icebreaker from in the classroom and pulling it in to getting them to grab something from their home. They were like, and it did kind of help open up the conversation, I think, right off the bat, because some of them didn't know each other at all in my last meeting too. So
Yeah.
was,
And sometimes the poll questions, something fun, like if you guys remember from the workshop, when I asked about the amusement park rides, and I did that with my undergraduate class. I did it in September. They were kind of my pilot group on it. But then our last class that we had Tuesday, I used it again, and just asked them to pick out the ride that characterized what fall semester was like for them. And, and then just asked, well, why Mary, you picked bumper cars, how bumper car, and it was off topic, but got a few of them talking and something kind of neutral. And I've been especially since we're going to be saddled again next semester with teaching through Zoom, a few more of those fun icebreaker, like what's on your desk you could pull up, or, something like that. But just get into the routine of doing it and make it a little bit more engaging early on.
One thing that I have played with a little bit, and it definitely depends on the group because it's got to be people that read and write well. But I have created a Google document in advance of the class with some of the things that I'm going to be asking them to be doing in small groups. And then putting that link into the chat box. So then when we send them off to their breakout rooms, they can click on the chat, they open the document, and they are working on it together.
Yeah.
And then when they come back, we all have that common knowledge and they've had a little bit of time to discuss. So my smallest group that I've done that with is 4 people, just so that they, at least if you're going to send them off, they would have, they'd be just a pair and share. And that has been a nice thing, but you need 4 people. And I would hate to get into a situation in which someone wasn't comfortable, or they, someone's got to be willing to and able to type. So I just think that needs a little bit of finesse before we would ever dive into something like that, to just learn if that's something that they would ever want to play with, and maybe bring it up and ask, like, okay, well, in a couple weeks, maybe we'll play with that. And if that didn't seem comfortable, just to back off. And I do have to run, but I want to bring this up, and it's a conversation that I was hanging on to this before from after Sarah and Lucy were talking, and that is, I continue to think about the disparities between districts that still have ECFE and ABE on an appendix group. I think about it a lot, and it's time, right, to have all licensed staff on the master teacher contract. And that's a legislative issue. So much bigger than what it is that we have usually embrace here within our dialogue. But I definitely think there's a lot that we could influence and touch on if we want to have some of that discussion. I don't know if it would be this group or an additional meeting at some point, but things that we could be doing, because across the state, it has gone to the legislature, right? It didn't make it this past time around. So it's not like it's not on the radar of our legislators, but I just wanted to share that, and I'm going to hop off in about 4 minutes. So thank you, everyone.
That issue is a passion of mine, and if we got started on it, I would take up a lot of space. So I'm not sure that's where people want to go. Just in terms of my observation of the history of ECFE, in the state and how it developed and kind of where it is right now. But I'm just not sure that's people's purpose here today.
Mm-hmm. But we could have, occasionally things will come up where it's like, we could spend a full session just on this topic. And in the sake of time, actually, this will be our last meeting, I think, for 2020. I have mixed feelings, because I want to say, yay, 2020's almost over with, and sad because it'll mean I won't see you guys for a few weeks. But then, I would like to think about next year in terms of our continued meetings. And I am perfectly content with our current setup. But I always want to hear what works best for you all in terms of, if you want to keep things this way, if you want to keep the day, Fridays at noon or whatever. And then, we could also switch up and have like an open session. And then we could also have like a topic focus session and just have a conversation. Or, maybe, earlier in May when we were doing it, we had 2 days. We had something on Thursdays and something on Tuesdays, depending on when people could meet. So, do you have any preferences? I can throw this out to the whole listserv too for ideas, but you all have been such stalwart attendees, for so much of this. Do you have any initial thoughts as we move into 2021?
Well, this time is sacred on my calendar, so I love it. And it's a really lovely, for me, way to wrap up the week. So I would lobby for this time, if not maybe a second time for additional people.
Yeah, I like Fridays at noon as well. It works great for my schedule.
Me too.
Okay. Okay.
Topics are free reign. I really don't think it matters as long as we have time to get together and schmooze.
Mhm.
Okay. If we had occasional, like maybe once a month topics focused on something, would you like that? Or do you think other people would like, I mean, we would know in advance, you know, what, like we wanted to talk about the master contract, or we wanted to talk about, you know, particular technologies, or, you know, I don't know, icebreakers, or, you know, whatever your topics are. So we would know those in advance. And then we could, you know, promote those. I can set it up on Friends of Family Education, but I could, you know, then people would know. And then if people only want to come in just for that topic or something. But just so but we're not going to, but that's as far as I'm going. I'm not doing agendas, and I'm not doing speakers. Because you're all, you know, we all have such a collective body of knowledge and expertise that I think it's just sort of honing all of that in a particular direction. It's not a formal professional development thing. So.
Well, and I think I want to make sure that you still like that. We don't want every single one to be topic focused, because I think this is a great place for us to come and meet our needs at the moment, rather than
Just like parent ed.
to be fine.
Just like parent ed.
What was that?
Just like parent ed. I mean, we can't always have an agenda. I mean, we'd like to sometimes, but we need to take care of what's at the top of people's minds. So.
Agreed.
And I think especially, I mean, you know, this year, because nothing is consistent, you know, I mean, between the suddenness of the COVID stuff and, you know, I reflect on everybody's responses on that survey we did in the spring, and always kind of looking above or waiting for word on high about what are we going to do and what can we use and what format are we, you know, kind of the kind of hurry up and wait. And then some of you who were involved in the spring in making decisions, I know Sarah, I think maybe in your district you guys were doing this, and then kind of they went on and did other things, or sort of like how much are you involved in planning, how much are things transparent anyway. And then the school year starts, and then things go one way, and then they're going another way, and every week that you're getting reports telling you whether you can meet in person or whatever. Oh my God. I mean, if anything, having just a place to talk and catch up and get your bearings, I mean, that's got to be enough, you know, rather than do everything new.
Well, I think getting into the new year, I need to do what Sarah said, and I need to make this a sacred time. This is a meeting I have, and no matter what other fires are going on right now, I need to put those on pause, because I don't know if you guys, I've missed a lot of these, and I'm not happy about it. Every time it happens, I'm like, oh, I've missed it again. But I let those other things take priority, and then I come back and I see you guys again, and I'm like, I should have been here. I should have been here last time. So I need to just put it into my calendar as a sacred time that I am busy. Sorry, people.
A New Year's resolution.
Yes.
Something to look, let's all go around. We have 1 minute left. So let's all just quickly go around and say one thing we're looking forward to in 2021. Ellen, you get to go first. I'm picking on you.
My kids to go back to school full time, to not have to wear a mask, to hug people. That's 3 things. I can't even just pick one. I'm really looking forward to hugs and making music with people too. That's 4. I don't follow the rules very well.
I'll go. All of the things that Ellen said, and moving my daughter into her college. She's the first year. She has not gone yet. And I'm really hoping to do that in September or August.
Going back to consistency and routine. Like I like my consistency and routine. So
I just want to feel like it's normal again. Like like you were just talking about, Susan, it's this. Like I'd love to just feel normal, you know. So I'm hoping that sometime this year that happens.
Grandkids
Oh,
and people. Yeah, I mean, just to be able to just visit with people and see people and mix with people without having to plan it so much and think about it, and just more just normal, like Shelley said.
yeah.
If whatever our normal will become, but yeah, it feels like a freedom thing, I guess, too, in a way. I just want to just I just want to be free.
How about you, Yuji?
Oh, I just hope with Susan and all of us, the support from everyone in this group, I can really serve the families in need in Whitefish School District. And I really look forward to that. And we schedule start on 19th January.
Melissa?
I'm looking forward to another big gathering. I have a very big extended family that we usually get together with, and we haven't been able to do that in a long time. And I'm looking forward to being able to do that again. So, and just the big groups of families and all the things you guys said too. Just back to normalcy, back to all of it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of the above too, especially the hugs part. Man, I am missing that kind of human. My dog can only do so much, just saying. But I'm also looking forward to planning and not planning. So like you, Lucy, I'm so tired of having to double all of the conversations about, is this safe? Do I have to do this? If when was the last time that person was around other people and all of that? That is just crazy. On the other hand, I'm looking forward to being able to plan like travel, and I'm used to like booking something 9 months in advance and then having to look forward to that, and all of that uncertainty around being able to, if things are still going to be open or things going to be quarantined. So I'm really looking forward to that. So, well, thank you, everybody. This was great. Thank you so much for this year. You guys have just rocked, and I'm glad that just a casual thought on a Friday afternoon or whenever it was to have a Zoom thing for anybody who wanted to show up has worked, and people have enjoyed it. So we'll keep it up again next year. I mean, why not keep a good thing going, right? So I hope you all have fabulous holidays and good care of yourselves.
Thank you, Susan. Susan, I want to let you know I love your sweater. The color matches your, the color matches your hair perfectly.
Well, everybody knows I am, like, so.
Everybody do a hug. Ready? Like this.
Yay.
Yay, Zoom hug.
Happy 2021.
Yes. So we'll meet again on the 8th. Okay. So I'll set it up for January 8th. All right.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you all.